Travelling. Munich. Munich's a city in the south of Germany. It's the third biggest city in the country by population after Hamburg and Berlin, and it's the capital of Bavaria. This proud, wealthy and beer-loving state is usually considered to be one of the nicest in Germany. Munich's a very nice city. There are a lot of things to visit and see, but the distances between them are comfortably manageable, allowing one to see the majority of them in a weekend or in 3 or 4 days. It's a modern city, quite cosmopolitan, but downtown, that's where you'll find a lot of traditional architecture. The cathedral, the town hall, and close to the town hall there's the Viktualien market, where you can buy a fair few different kinds of products, fresh fruit, meats from the many butchers and chocolates. You've got the option of eating in the restaurants, or you can stand up at the bar and drink something. It's a lively place and you should visit it. You can also get handmade things or a souvenir, which, frankly speaking, I'm not bothered about. I'm not a fan of seeing souvenir shops all over the city on every street. With all this area being pedestrian, it's quite nice to walk around. Close to the city centre, you can visit the Olympic Park. By close, I'm talking maybe 10 minutes on the underground. It was constructed to be ready for the 1972 Summer Olympic Games. There you can find a memorial for the civilian victims of World War II and another memorial for the victims of the terror attack at the 72 Olympic Games where, if you remember, 11 members of the Israeli Olympic team and 1 German police officer were taken hostage and latterly killed. In my opinion, it's one of Munich's main tourist attractions, with its big lake giving a home to ducks and swans. There are also big hills and it's full of Olympic equipment and facilities. For instance, the Olympic Stadium, swimming pools. It's great for a bike ride or a little walk, picnic or a ride on the boats, if the weather's nice. Even though the Olympic Park's big, it's not the biggest park in Munich. That title belongs to the English Garden, which is even bigger than Central Park in New York. You can get there walking north from the centre. There's a huge beer garden. Paulaner beer is really something special. You can also try Weissbier, but I'm not a big fan of Weissbier. The English Garden has a lovely atmosphere, with people sat on the many tables and benches, drinking and laughing with friends. People actually go surfing too in the river stream. Don't be surprised to see some nudity too, especially if the weather's good. Near the Olympic Park, you'll find the BMW plant. You can take a tour and the ticket cost me €8 if I remember correctly. You can see some ridiculously expensive models. You can visit the museum that'll show you the history of the BMW cars and brand. The building itself is a beautiful thing to see, if modern architecture is your cup of tea. It's very impressive. Talking of cups of tea, if you don't like something in English, you might say, it's not my cup of tea. In Germany, perhaps not surprisingly, they say, that's not my beer. A lot of people told me that German food was terrible, but I loved it. The food I tried was incredible, of course. You have the typical sausages like the bratwurst, but I also found the pretzels great. They had this slow roasted pork too that was served to me with the knife stuck in it, and a dumpling which was also great. There's also something that looks like pasta, but it's not really pasta. It's not a dumpling either, but it's nice. It was called spatzel. There was the schnitzel also, which was a bit like a Milanese. As I said before, the beer's great. In fact, Munich is famous for its Oktoberfest. Löwenbräu is everywhere in Munich, and it's a great beer with a huge history. The Löwenbräu house supposedly started brewing beer around 1383. I have to say that Paulaner is my preferred German beer. I could drink it all day. It's really easy to drink, even though it has a 5.5 alcohol percentage. You can enjoy both of these beers at Oktoberfest. Only Munich beers are allowed to be served there. But if you don't go during September and October, you can enjoy a big jug of Paulaner, not anything like those small Spanish cañas, in the many beer halls of Munich. The beer halls are lovely buildings with long tables, and sometimes you can listen to some live music there. The weather while we were in Munich was practically perfect, sunny and warm. However, when we decided to see the Neuschwanstein Castle, you may not recognize the name, but if you have a quick look on the internet, you'll recognize the castle instantly. It's an incredible white castle built on top of a hill in the middle of a big forest and mountains. It's magnificent. My friend told me before I went that when she saw the castle, she told her boyfriend to propose to her in front of it. So I was really looking forward to seeing the castle. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't exactly the same in Munich as in Neuschwanstein. It was throwing it down. We couldn't even see the castle. I was so disappointed. Crossing the German border into Austria, there's a lovely city called Salzburg, just 150 kilometers from Munich. Salzburg's like a fairy tale. With its Baroque architecture, everything's pretty, and you can tell that it has a rich past. We went there on the train, which was totally empty. So we thought to ourselves, well, we have an almost empty train. Shall we sit in business class? You know, we had an economy ticket, but business class is a little bit nicer. When the ticket man came, we tried to act like the typical ignorant tourist, you know. We had no idea about the ticket, we couldn't understand. He didn't believe anything we said and told us that unless we move, we will be kicked off the train. We moved back to economy. Munich's lovely, full of wonderful excursions close by. It's not as frantic as other bigger cities, and that cool, tranquil atmosphere really gives it a nice, warm, welcome feel.